What's going on, people? It's Colour Mace from the Central Club Podcast. I hope everyone's doing well. It's Tuesday evening. I thought I'd come on, give you a little rundown on what I've been up to the last 2 days and what we've got in store for you on the Central Club Podcast this weekend. Right now, I'm carrying a yellow box. People are probably like, what the hell is this? If you've seen my lives, or you're in the recovery world, you will probably know what this is. I say the recovery world, what I mean is the drug world. This is called Naloxone. This is like a lifeline, basically. This is saving a lot of lives right now, with the likes of George Charlton, Debra Thomas, really pushing this out to services. Since I started my job last year, I've always been in this service user lead role, trying to get more service users involved in services. But the last couple of weeks, I've been given a new role, and that's to help coordinate the harm reduction peers in Cardiff. What that means is basically we have a team of 5 harm reduction peers who go out into the city centre of Cardiff and Vale, so Barry, Penarth, those are smaller towns as well, and basically hand out these kits to drug users and civilians. What we've done this week, which is amazing, is we've really pushed on giving it to just the average person. Everyone should carry one of these, especially if you're in an area there's a lot of drug use going on, like working in a town centre. I just want to quickly give a big shout out before I get into what's going on to Holland and Barrett, Costa Coffee, Ladbrokes and Blue Banana in Cardiff City Centre, because yesterday myself and one of the peers, we actually trained up all their staff who were in on that day, and now they will be carrying Naloxone. The reason it's so important is because it's such a hot spot on Queen Street, those shops in particular where people hang around, congregate, use drugs, and there has also been overdoses there as well. Guys, if you're intrigued and you want one of these, if you send me your details, date of birth, your details, your name, I will get you one of these sent out. I will also show you how to use it. What would they call it? A tutorial? I'm going to do one of them, and if you want one, I will send them out. If you're in Cardiff or the Vale, come and see me. I'll get one of the peers to train you up as well. Anyway, just quickly reflect on the podcast just gone with Debra Thomas. Thank you so much, Debra, for coming on and sharing your side of the story. I know you're going through a huge ordeal still. You should be at peace. Whatever that may look like, you need to be at peace, you and your family. From the response we've had, I think the majority of the people think Di Morris was innocent. Myself personally, I don't think he killed that family, and I do believe there needs to be some closure for you guys, because I just don't think there's enough right now. So thank you so much for coming on. If you haven't watched that podcast, go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Okay, so this weekend we've got Derek D. Alvarez, Del Boy D, from the Inter Miami firm. He's basically an American from Florida who is a self-proclaimed football hooligan. It's funny because when Vice done their documentary with him, they didn't even have a football club. They have a football club now, but like they didn't even have a football club then, and he was trying to be a football hooligan. I thought it was an absolute joke, but this guy is 100% serious. You will find that out this weekend on the Central Club Podcast. Oh, some of the things he was coming up with was just hilarious. It was nice to get a podcast like that out, because lately we've done a lot of doom and gloom, quite serious stuff, so I like to do the odd ones which got a bit of banter in, and this weekend is definitely that. We also filmed a documentary with him, Derek Diablos tour of Cardiff City Centre. We actually got him to meet a real life football hooligan, a hooligan that's been on our podcast, Jonathan Evans. This guy is the real deal. If you haven't seen that podcast, Jonathan Evans met Derek Diablo and it was fireworks. You're just going to have to wait and see what happened. Also, I've been thinking about, we're 73, we're coming up to episode 74, yeah? I've been thinking, we're not running out of guests, by all means. But there's been some podcasts we've done that have done really well, and I'm thinking about doing a part 2 with some of these people because they've moved on so much in their lives as well. What do you guys think? Put in the comments. Let me know who you would like to see a part 2 of. I've been in talks with Uncle K lately. Shout out to Uncle K. Obviously, Uncle K's had a baby and he's been kind of laying low, but would you like to see an Uncle K part 2? I know a lot of people have spoken about Dougie Joyce and John Joyce coming on. I've actually been in talks with Dean Lynch. Shout out to Dean Lynch. And I've spoken to Dougie once or twice. I know he's a busy man, but we need to get that part 2 going on. They did say they'd come on. They did say they would show their paperwork, so hopefully we will get that part 2 soon. The one which I'm excited for is Chris McLeod. If none of you know who Chris McLeod is, that's Aaron Lambo's ex-business partner who have kind of had a falling out. You'll see that Aaron Lambo always talks about a certain someone who's been harassing him, who's been brandishing knives, blah 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 blah. Don't really know the ins and outs of it, but we are going to get Chris McLeod on the podcast so he can share his side of the story. Because as we all know, there's 3 sides to a story. People like Aaron Lambo, who's got this big platform, you'll only hear his narrative. And I really genuinely believe, being from the Central Club Podcast, being a voice for adversity. We need to hear both sides of the story. So Chris McLeod will be coming soon as well, so I hope you'll enjoy that one. Obviously there's been a lot of shit going on YouTube, a lot of shit talk, as we like to say. It's crazy, it's sad. I'm hoping things will get sorted out. You've got Decca Heggie now, it's coming into the winter. It's like deja vu again, isn't it? This is like this time last year, Decca fought Danny Christie. It's like all that fight talk's happening again. You know, this is winter, this is the time you're meant to catch up with your missus. This is the season to be jolly. It's not the season to start fucking arguing with people and meeting people in services. It's just not on. These guys are fully grown men, and I think they just need to rein it all in before serious damage happens. I heard it last year, people saying, you know, someone's going to do something stupid, but if it carries on like this, it's inevitable that something stupid is going to happen. And there's one thing I'd like to say. All these people I see on YouTube who are in this YouTube beef, in this YouTube war, they've all got a narrative, they've all got a cause, whether it's a religious cause, whether it's a recovery cause, whether it's an anti-knife campaign, whether it's anti-grooming. They're on YouTube for a reason or another. When they get into these back and forths with other people, you're just contradicting what you're saying. It's basically nullifying everything you stand for. So just take a step back and think about what you're doing and try and do something positive. You've all got big platforms. You're all charismatic people in your own way. Do something positive. It's the same with some of these channels. Some of them, don't get me wrong, I fucking love. You've got some of these channels who are probably targeting or trolling or making fun of certain people. These guys are brilliant editors. What they're doing, they've got a talent, an undeniable talent, where they can make videos, edit, you know, pictures onto stuff. Use that for something good instead of causing misery for someone, because no doubt, yes, to us, we're laughing, we're having a crack, it's taking our mind off the real world, but it's at someone's expense every single time, and we need to deep that, really. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that. Make sure you tune in this weekend to Derek Diablos podcast. It's out at 12 p.m. on the Central Club podcast. Make sure you give me a follow, and make sure you give the Central Club a follow, and I'll see you all soon. Stay central.